So, time for a brand new feature on Offbeat Reggae Radio. It is Offbeat Intros, where I chat to a band or artist by way of a complete introduction to the listener. Now, due to a happy coincidence, a previous interview I had set up cancelled, and a gentleman sent me a message over Twitter asking me to check out his album. I asked if he wanted to step in, and here we are. On the phone with me now is Mr. Matt Hoy. Hello, sir.
How are you, sir? You good?
I am amazing. Thank you so much for stepping in at the last minute. It's much appreciated.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Now, I've done a bit of research myself, but what I'd like to do, I'm aware that you have quite an impressive background in music, but for those of you just being introduced to you now, can you please help catch them up?
Well, my impressive background would be the fact that I've been one of the singers with Ali Campbell and Astro UB40 for the past 10 years. Well, basically toured the world for 10 years as well.
Amazing.
It's been a marvellous experience, enjoying many, many different cultures and exploring different styles of reggae music, which has helped me know when producing my own solo album.
I can imagine. Is it just UB40 that you've been involved with in the past 10 years, or have you dabbled elsewhere?
I've been involved with quite a few artists. Wet Wet was among one of them. Boy George. Yeah, but it gets boring. It gets boring after a while. It's just work. The last 10 years really of my career are what I would say are my happiest years, doing what I'm happy with doing musically.
I'm with you. So the next step then is doing everything on your own.
Well, I wouldn't say so much doing it on my own. I've got a wonderful team around me, my management and crew and people that worked on the album with me, my band and engineers, and they've always been with me from the beginning of writing this album and have all stuck by me right up until this point. And the fact of being, not so much on my own as in a solo artist, still with UB40, still touring, enjoying that lifestyle as well. I'm having a great time at the minute.
I can imagine. I mean, just the past 10 years, although it feels like work, must have been incredibly special for so many different reasons.
It's very special. I mean, the first time I ever sang Red Red Wine when I was in Berlin, and I think it was January 2010, to now, 10 years later, it's still as special in a sense, but in a different way, if you can understand that, because you see the looks on these people's faces as soon as Ali starts singing the first notes of that song, and the connection they have with that for over the past 40 years. And to be a part of that, it's very special, yeah.
Absolutely. It sounds amazing. Right, what we'll do then is get one of your tunes on now so people can get a feel for you from the new album, which you'll tell us a little bit more about a little bit later on, if that's okay. Matt, how about you introduce the first song for us?
Well, the first track is from my new album, and it's the single from my new album, and this is called Happy.
We've got to stand up, rise up, do what we gotta make us happy.
So as Matt said, the first single from his new album, it is called Happy. Loving that. Thank you so much for sending it over and letting us play it.
No problem.
Now, having spent some time with UB40, as you said, and other talented artists, who would you consider would be your main influences?
Oh, that's a hard one. See, my spectrum of music ranges from R&B through to reggae. Reggae is kind of a new spectrum for me, which I've kind of enveloped over the last 10 years from being with UB40. My initial hero, my go-to would always be George Michael. He was my main influence. It's just everything about George Michael, the artist that he is, the writer, the musician, the producer, the vocalist, the way he presents his music is just very special in my eyes. But also along with that, you've got people like Stevie Wonder and Prince, and then going into the reggae field, we have like Bob Marley and John Holt. Especially John Holt for me is a big influence. I kind of just relate to John Holt in a way, vocally, and also having met the man 2 or 3 times. And sadly, I was with him about 3 or 4 days before he passed away. And I always wanted to do a cover of a John Holt song. And he kind of gave me his blessings when we were away in Holland. Said, yeah, you carry on, you can do any one of my songs.
Oh, fabulous.
Was a big thing. Well, that was a big thing for me. So I never managed to get the track on the album because we'd already kind of finished doing the songs at the time. But so I did a cover of his in my album launch. It was really nice to do, and went down so well, which, as you can imagine, a John Holt song would do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, John Holt, reggae for me, is John Holt. Obviously Bob's the best, he's the icon, but for me, I kind of feel an affinity towards John Holt.
But before we launch into the next track, you've just made me think, actually. Is his blessing to allow you to sing one of his songs enough, or would you need it all down in writing as well?
Oh, no, that's enough. If it comes from the man's mouth and he's sat in front of me, for me, you never need anything in writing to cover somebody's music. But for me, it was just because I was such a fan, we was actually in Holland and we did a show, well, UB40 did a show with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. And there was UB40, John Holt and Luciano. We did all the rehearsals in London, and then we flew out to Holland to do the shows. And it was when we were in Holland, we were in the hotel, and we were actually eating breakfast, and he was with his grandson, I think, because he wasn't well at the time. And his grandson was helping him round and everything. I'd seen him a couple of times before in the US, and we talked and stuff, but this was, a quiet space. And I always said to him, I said, I'd love to cover and record one of your songs. And he said, well, you have my blessing, you have to do any one of my songs. So for me, that was good enough. If it comes from the man's mouth, then that's good enough for me.
Oh, lovely. I was worried record companies would step in and say, oi, or that there'd be some issues there.
Oh, no. As long as you get the copyright and they get paid, they're happy.
Oh, happy day. Right then, so we've already established then that he is a major influence for you. Let's get a track on. What do you want?
Well, this is John Holt and Help Me Make It Through the Night.
John Holt and Help Me Make It Through the Night on Offbeat Reggae Radio. I have been very, very lucky indeed to have the man himself, Mr. Matt Hoy, is it ex-vocalist of UB40? Are you still doing that?
No, I'm still there. Don't write me off. I don't have any P45 in at this rate. No,
Sorry, premature. However, we are looking towards your solo album at the moment as well, aren't we?
We are indeed, yeah.
That album called Touch, out now, I believe, is it not?
It is out now, yeah. The single is Happy. It's been much like a journey for me, this album. And if I could describe it, the best way I could describe it is it's been a musical diary for me of songs that I've wanted to write about certain people, certain situations, certain life experiences that I've had, and they've all been collected and put onto one musical scrapbook, as it were.
Are there any standout tunes within the album that remind you of, as you say, it's a scrapbook, so certain parts of your life that certain songs bring out?
Every single one on the album is biographical or something I've done, somebody I know, something I've experienced, even the covers to some extent. But, there's a song on there called Sharing Moments With You, which I wrote about my mother. There's a track on there called Every Little Thing, which I wrote about my current partner. Happy, for me, is a song about what's happening in this environment that we're living in at the moment, where there's too much bullying, too much hatred, there's not enough love going around, and it involves the multicultural side of things, bringing things together, the LGBT community, and mental health awareness. It's all those things we just need to kind of address in a happier way.
Wowzers. It sounds like a very, very heartfelt and busy album. It
is. It's something that I had to get off my chest more than anything, and each song represents that. I think the next album I'll do will be slightly less heavy. I mean, it's not heavy in, the world's going to end, but You'll be more light-hearted the next album.
So looking forward to 2020, what are your plans then for either solo bits or bits with UB40 or anything else? What have you got going on?
Well, the plan for next year is really to promote my album and to get out there back on the road with UB40. The album, there's lots and lots of exciting things coming up in the pipeline for my solo album. Things that I can't actually talk about at the moment because in the process of being arranged, but we're talking festivals in the UK and overseas, TV shows, obviously on radio. Yeah, it's just another single release, maybe off the album. New music material coming out as well. While I'm here, I'd like to wish all your listeners a happy Christmas. And if you listen to my social media and the streaming sites, there's going to be a little present for everybody on Christmas Day because I've dropped a little Christmas song on there for everybody as well.
Oh, lovely. Okay, we will definitely keep an eye out for that. And as you drop it, I will share it.
Perfect.
Wicked. Let's get another song on of yours then. What do you fancy playing next?
Well, the next track off my current album is a track I was lucky enough to record with Mr. Ali Campbell from UB40, and this is called Who the Cat Fits.
Man to man.
Who the Cat Fits with Ali Campbell. I don't imagine it was overly difficult for you to get him on that record.
It was actually, we've been trying to get together because obviously touring, we're so busy all the time and we don't have much of a downtime to do anything socially. But we were actually, the first time we were in Honolulu in Hawaii. So I managed to book a studio and we just went in for I think it was about 3 or 4 hours, and we managed to just set 2 mics up, and we just both went for it, and we got the whole lot done vocally in about an hour, which was great. So, and we enjoyed the rest of the day off, the only day off we had at the time. So that was how we recorded that one together.
Lovely, lovely. Right, thank you so much for being the first person on Offbeat Intros.
Pleasure.
It's been lovely to talk to you. Just for anybody that has heard your tunes, likes your music, you can find out more via matthoymusic.com. You can search on social media, just search for Matt Hoy Official. Look for the blue tick where it's appropriate, I'm sure, and then you'll get the correct one. And I'll tell you what, let's play another tune that I'm sure that you'll be aware of. Anything from UB40 you reckon we should play now?
Oh, God, now you're talking. I Love It When You Smile.
Done. It is on for you. Thank you so much for joining us. All the best.
Great to talk to you, Andy. You take care.
I love it when you smile.